So my name is Jayla. I also go by Oyadele, which means Oya comes to the house. That's my spiritual name. So I'm an energy practitioner. I also make jewelry. I also do curio oil. So I dabble into a bit of everything. My mother and I, we practice West African Vodun. So this was my spiritual name that was given by my godmother. And my mom basically got me throughout my whole spiritual journey. When I was younger, it started off with Christianity, of course, but my family on my mother's side, we dabble into a whole lot. I was a praise dancer at my church, but I also thought, I was like, spirituality, I don't know, Christianity. I just felt called to do something deeper than that. Around the age of 16, that's when I had my major spiritual awakening, and I was on a cruise. And that's when I met my mentor and got into energy work and everything. So when I was younger, I always had this question in my head. God created Earth and God created us. And I was like, well, who created God? Just kept having that back and forth thought. And then that's when I was like, I want to learn more about things. And I'm grateful that my mother was very supportive. So after I seen her step out the church, I followed her. My first major spiritual awakening was 2020. I had a mini one in 2018, but 2020 was the one that really shifted my whole reality. It's coming back to yourself in a way. Like how some people say they're going on a spiritual retreat. How I view spiritual retreats is you going on a retreat to receive your spirit, to receive your soul, just to tap back into yourself for the better. I started practicing energy work in 2021, and it was, the way it happened was very crazy. I had an experience with one of my ex-partners, and we were doing, I believe at the time that was tantric practices. My whole body was just tingling, and it was something I've never felt before. And I was like, what is this? My body's buzzing. So that kind of threw me in a rabbit hole, and I was like, I gotta figure out what this is.
What's going on?
Yes. I'm still learning it. The first things I began to learn was African spirituality. I learned more about energy work because I come to find out my mom was doing energy work and I didn't even know. There's so many different types, because you have traditions, you have different African traditions, then you have the people who like to practice Wicca and all that. Just helping people tap into their divine self. The dark night of the soul is usually on your spiritual journey where you can have a possibility of developing a psychosis, or if you're trying to do everything at once, that's not good. I've been there. Or if you're going through a tough time, you feel depressed, you're losing all these friends and you don't know why, but in reality, it's just spirit is preparing yourself for a big transition. My favorite phrase is, everything that is happening to you is for you, nothing and no one is against you. Most people, they have this common misconception about darkness. We're born in the dark, and also I feel when you're in the dark, you can create stuff. That's when most people think I'm demonic. Most people think I'm fake, especially with my energy work. They're like, oh, you're just making these up. Because I'm young, some people look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. In life, you're gonna have some people who agree and some people who disagree. So when we're looking at the African perspective, we view the Orishas as deities, and then we have God. Orishas, how I see them, they're aspects of nature, but they once, in different stories and traditions, they walk the earth. Before you try to practice anything, whether you work with the Orishas or the saints and anything, you want to start with your ancestors. So how we view ancestors, they're those that walked before you and those who passed on. How I practice and work with my ancestors, I sometimes I have an ancestor altar at home. So me and my mother, we pray to our ancestors. We'll give them alcohol or any type of offerings and flowers like that. As a Christian, I felt like I was in a box. It was very rigid. I felt like I had to follow these certain rules. With spirituality, I feel more connected with myself. I feel like I'm living my life in a better way.